Hello everybody, it's Aaron, back from Screen Stars to do another review for Geek Legion of Doom. And today I am reviewing the movie Earthquake, a foreign language speaking movie that is from Armenia, I believe, and it is the true story of the earthquake in Armenia in 1988. And this is a very, very emotional, quite impactful movie, and quite a roller coaster ride when it comes to emotions. But I just wanted to start the review off by giving you some facts really on this earthquake, and it gives you these facts at the end of the movie. The energy of this earthquake that was felt in 1988 was the equivalent to 10 nuclear bombs, which is staggering just to consider that. It wiped out the city of Spitak and 58 villages as well. 300 more cities and villages were partially destroyed, and 25,000 died, but unofficial sources put that number closer to 150,000. Staggering. Now, when you take all of that into consideration, when you watch this movie, it puts a whole new light on this movie, because, like I say, it's the telling of this earthquake and the impact of the earthquake and the immediate effects after of it in Armenia, and how the local community pulled together to try and find survivors, get through it, but it does it in a different storytelling sense. The movie starts off at the beginning. There is a car crash. There's a young lad, I think he's 10 or 12 years old, and there's a car crash, and the chap who's responsible for this car crash ends up going to jail for 8 years. The story then moves on 8 years, and we pick the story up, and the young man has now grown up, and we meet everybody in this city, village, whatever, all milling about, doing the local things, going to the market, going to the barbers, having family disputes, all this kind of stuff. So we're introduced to all these characters, and even the guy getting released from jail coming back home. He's in an aeroplane coming back home, and then the quake hits, and everything is absolutely devastated. The whole place is devastated, and I have to say the earthquake effects were really quite effective. It really surprised me, because when the film started, my first reaction was, ooh, this feels quite uniquely filmed in the way it was filmed. It felt very low budget and stuff, and then boom, when the quake happened, the effects were really quite fantastic. I'm not really sure they did it, but it was very, very good indeed, the effects. So then they're dealing with the aftermath of this quake. Families torn apart, devastating scenes, moments of real levity throughout the movie, emotional highs, emotional lows, and quite a difficult film to watch at times. This isn't a light movie by any way, shape or form. It's a very, very serious movie in the message that it's giving, and the only real surprise to me with this movie is how impactful it was. But the storytelling, the way they chose to tell this story, felt a bit unusual to me. I don't know if it was a cultural thing, but there was a layer of sense of humour occasionally in the movie that felt uncomfortable to me. But my thoughts were maybe this was a cultural thing, because obviously it's filmed in Armenia, it's all foreign language, and maybe I just didn't get some of the humour that they were trying to put across. Some other storytelling angles that they had that didn't make an awful lot of sense were the car crash story theme going through it. I don't really think it needed that either. But there was also another part of the movie where in one scene you meet the barber, who's happily jolly away, giving people shaves and cuts and stuff. The quake happens, and his first reaction is to take the watch off a dead customer's arm and suddenly become a looter. That was the storytelling there was a bit off for me. Again, but it could be just the way the story was told. It didn't make sense to me, a lot of the storytelling angles that they went with this movie. I didn't feel they needed the fictional elements to this. I thought the factual elements of it alone was far more impactful than anything they wanted to put in this that was fictional. So I have to say, I'm not sure I could go as far to say I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was excellently made. It really was very, very impactful. But enjoyed is a strong word. I found it quite emotional at times, this movie. And it actually inspired me to read up a little bit more about this event, because I'll be honest, I'd forgotten about it, and it was an absolutely crushingly devastating event, and it does show scenes of the support and the aid that they got, but it was mainly about the local people and how they chose to get through this, and how they chose to band together and look for survivors in any way they could. And when there are scenes of people being rescued and stuff, it is very uplifting at times, but also very, very downbeat with some of the other sides of it. So I have to say this is an excellent movie, and I would give this movie an 8 out of 10.